and welcome to my channel. That's me, I'm Han. I'm kind of newish to posting on YouTube, and I want to make videos about art and wellness. I'm so happy you're here. Now on to today's video. Like if you like, and subscribe. Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're talking about mindful doodling for anxiety. So glad you made it here today. Whether you are a full-blown artist or you can barely draw a stick figure, this video is for you. We're going to be focusing on the mindful act of doodling rather than the finished product. So stick around if you're interested in that. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Hannah. You can call me Han if you like. And I am currently in the process of opening an online wellness studio, and so you might be wondering what that is. It's an online creative wellness studio. So essentially I would like my website to be a place where I can put up resources for people who would like to do art and maybe don't have a knack for it or struggle with a creative block or something like that. So yes, the resources basically, if you take art and mental health, put it together, that's what I'm about. So thank you for being here. Also, if there are any, if you can think of anything, any resource or thing that you might find useful, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Let's get into today's video. Okay, so let's break down mindful doodling and how it can become a simple practice that you incorporate into your everyday life to help manage anxiety and cope with stress. I also want to mention that art and doodling is never going to be a cure-all for mental illness, anxiety, or whatever it may be, but it can help you cope and deal with difficult emotions and challenging times. There's lots of good research on that, so feel free, if you're curious about some specific research, leave me a comment and I'd be happy to share some links with you and some books. But for now, let's just get into the practice. So first step one, you're gonna want to set the scene. So I know that when I'm really struggling with wanting to do something creative to get out of a rut, sometimes my environment just doesn't feel conducive to that. So personally, what I like to do is I'll do a quick tidy, not that my space has to be necessarily clean, but if there's something irking me in my space, it's just gonna get in my way creatively. So I might do a quick tidy, might put on a little diffuser, a little candle, put on some fancy twinkly lights. You want to set the mood. You want the environment to be, conducive to creativity. And I just know for me, if my environment is uncomfortable, it's going to stress me out and it's not going to allow me to be relaxing and have a relaxing process. So first thing, set your environment. The other thing you want to do, I know not everybody can do this all the time, but I really like to put my phone on Do Not Disturb if I can. The important people that I want their texts to come through regardless will come through, but I like to put my phone on D&D sometimes because I like to have that uninterrupted creativity flow, and sometimes when you get a random distraction, it can interrupt that. If you can't, that's okay too. But just you might also want to put on something to listen to keep you company. So music I always like. Sometimes I go for an audiobook. You can put on a YouTube video or a movie, just whatever is gonna help to anchor you in your space and let you kind of keep you company while you're doing your practice or your doodle session. Another thing that to consider is just your clothing. Sometimes clothing can be distracting, and I know sometimes when I'm in a mood where it's I'm feeling stuck and I'm feeling uncomfortable and things like that, sometimes my clothing can just really irk me, so I always like to make sure I'm in comfy clothes and not any restricting jeans or anything like that. So that is step one. So step two, you're gonna want to gather your materials. Personally, I like to use just a sketchbook that I have, and a pencil or sometimes a marker. But use what works best for you. If you have a random napkin and a broken crayon, that should work fine. I think sometimes having just using what you have can be a really good artistic challenge. I know sometimes we think we need to have like all the supplies in order to create something truly wonderful, but this isn't about making a masterpiece. This is just about the practice of doodling to get unstuck and get out of kind of unpleasant space. So use whatever you like. If you prefer to do digital drawing, that is totally okay. I love to use my iPad and my Apple Pencil to doodle. If you're on Windows, go for it. Use whatever makes the most sense for you. Use whatever is going to help you to get into the creative flow. And if you've never been in a creative flow, like for visual arts, just keep it simple. Stick with pencil and paper. But if you are a little bit more advanced, try that. Yeah, try just doing what you're comfortable with. Okay, so this is where we really get down to work. This is step 3. So we're going to take a deep breath in and out. And if you're going to be doing this activity right now with me, we can breathe in and out together. I think that'd be wonderful. So I'm going to take a couple deep breaths. So you can put your hand on your chest and the other over your stomach if you like, or just lean back and do what feels right. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath and let it out. And again. And out. And one more time. And again. And out. Nice. So when you're breathing, a pro tip is when you inhale sharply or quickly, and then exhale longer than you have inhaled, and that will kind of reset your body for a calm space internally. You can do that a couple of times. It's very helpful. I've used it in all kinds of situations. And yeah, now that we're centering ourselves, and feel free to breathe as much as you like before it gets up. Now that we're in a Zen zone, I want you to think about what comes to mind first. It could be a word or even an image, or maybe you have nothing and your mind is totally blank, and sometimes that's the most frustrating part. Okay, so if nothing comes to mind, don't worry about it, I got you. So the first place we're going to start, if nothing comes to mind, is we're going to draw a frame on the paper. So you can simply draw a square if that works best for you. You could draw a circle, you could draw a triangle, you could trace your hand and use that as a frame. You could draw like a wonky shape or a blob, whatever you like. Totally be creative with it. But you're going to draw a frame on your paper that eventually will focus on filling in. It is proven to be helpful for creative flow to have a frame or an outline that we could fill in. Something about it stimulates the brain. Anyway, so start with a frame. Now, when it comes to filling up the frame or putting what is in it, don't necessarily think of an image unless something comes to mind. If so, go with that and doodle away. But if you're really struggling with what to fill it, just start with some basic shapes. So you can do circles or lines or dots or squiggles or squares or anything really. But just pick a simple shape and start there. And maybe start in one corner of your shape and work towards filling it. And I know this might seem overwhelming, but trust me, if you get into the repetitive nature of doing simple shapes or simple lines, that is where sometimes the relaxation can come from, is doing just something kind of mindless. So personally, when I'm doing Zentangle art, which is kind of like a meditative doodle technique, I like to just draw like a square and then draw like little squares within the square, like section it off, and then in each section I'll just do like different lines or different directions of lines or different dots or squares. You can see in the example on the screen, this is a Zentangle example. Yeah, that's basically the the key points of getting rolling. And once you're into like the zone of it, once you kind of get into the flow and you sort of forget about the barriers to getting started, really just like let it flow. There's no right or wrong. Just have fun with it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be stylized. You know, you don't have to share this with anyone. It's really just for you and your process of unraveling and unwinding and sorting out some of the mental barriers that we might be having. Enjoy the process. Keep, you know, seeing what you can add on to create. If you feel like you filled the frame and you would like to expand outside of the frame, feel free. You know, there's no rules to this. You can turn it into whatever. You can add globs and colors. Yeah, that's the other thing, is if you feel like adding color once you've finished the initial layout, go for it. Color is so fun. Okay, step 5. Now that we have our finished or somewhat finished piece, this is where we want to come kind of back to ourselves, back to our center. And so I want you to sort of reflect on the experience of your doodle session. Were there any challenges you had to overcome, whether it was like a mental block or, you know, maybe I know sometimes when I get going in my art process, I can, like my you know, thought process can be like, oh, I'm not that good of an artist, or I'm, you know, I'm not going to be as good as this person or so and so. And I want you to know that's a load of crap, because art really comes down to practice. And it's, for me, the art process is more what's more important rather than the finished outcome. So there's, you know, if you keep practicing your art, there's always going to be something good that can come out of it. The more you practice, the more likely you are to get to those finished wonderful works, right? But for me, it's just about the process, especially in this video, Mindful Doodling. It's just about incorporating the simple act of letting your brain have a freaking bath and just unwind without doing anything heavy. I know sometimes this can be a good exercise even when I don't feel like reading, because reading is a really comforting exercise for me when I'm kind of in a rut. But sometimes my brain just feels too tired to read, and this is a nice exercise that can just help you use your brain in a way that's creative and just kind of get out of your mental state. And at this point, if you feel like adding any words, if there was any words that came out to you during your practice, like I know while I was doodling, this is a word, I was listening to a book about self-compassion, and that word kind of spoke to me, so I did a couple of doodles around self-compassion. So if you feel like adding words, or maybe you want to add some like journal lines to your doodle, feel free. This is for you, so do what feels right to you. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If anything, I hope you have learned that mindful doodling is just not about art and creating art. It is about finding a moment of peace in your day to express some of these pent-up emotions in your mind and your body and release them onto a piece of paper, to help soothe anxiety or any difficult emotions we may be feeling. It's really a journey of self-discovery. So yeah, so thank you for watching. I am hoping to be posting a video once every 2 weeks for the next couple of months, and then hopefully maybe by next quarter, we'll see, every week. So thank you for being here. If you haven't checked out my previous videos, go ahead if you want to. I posted a story time about sometime last year. This video is my first video back, and I'm very excited to be here. I have a new motivation to keep going. I'm also moving, so maybe some moving content. I don't know about that. I think my goal is to make one kind of topic video and one sort of artist vlog style video per month for the foreseeable future, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. My next video is going to be like an artist vlog, where I kind of showcase different art practices that I use in my everyday life to help keep me grounded and mindful. Yeah, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, so hit subscribe so you can stay tuned for the next video. Otherwise, thanks so much for being here. Hope you have a great day, and I wish